Welcome to Leadership Sovereignty. I'm your host, Terry Baylor, along with Ralph Owens. Today, we'll answer questions about the persecutor and their role in the dreaded drama triangle, how carrying the victim persona into opportunities impacts thinking and decision-making, and identifying systems that leads one to believe I am the victim and the stories repeated in the mind which reinforce that belief. Enjoy the show.
Moving on to the next role in the dreaded drama triangle, we have the persecutor. And the persecutor is perceived to cause all of the victim's woes. So I'll read a little bit more of the book here to you. It says that persecutors and victims are symbiotic. One can't exist without the other. According to the dictionary, persecute means to harass in a manner designed to injure, grieve, or afflict, or to annoy with persistent or urgent approaches as attacks, pleas, or inopportunities. And then it also says, but whether a person, condition, or a circumstance, the persecutor gets the blame for causing the victim's feelings and grief of despair and hopelessness. So here we are. We started off with the role of the victim. Oh, these things are happening to me. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just my lot in life. Again, a choice in how that person's viewing themselves. And in order to be a victim, you have to have a persecutor. It's either someone or something or some circumstance that is causing your pain, right? So we've heard so many times, oh, the man got me down and there's nothing I can do about it, right? Or you have some people, you can take it this direction. A person may have a sickness, and because I have this disability, then, I can't be this or I can't be that. There always has to be a persecutor whenever you have a victim. And the fun part about learning this revelation is when you think of yourself as a victim, you can always see who plays the role of the persecutor, right? Somebody cuts you off in traffic, right. Now you mad because you're the victim, right? Because this person cut you off, the person who cut you off in traffic is the persecutor, right? Terry and I told our story, very transparent about it. We had a boss who unfairly did us wrong, right? We could have easily taken the victim role, right? And made that person the persecutor, right? I mean, Terry, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, right? How many times do we take those ideas and experiences into a new experience, right? Mm-hmm. And so now someone who really may not be intending to do you any ill will, but there may be a similarity, right? There may be, I remember, Ralphie, you're going to laugh at this. And remember, there was a certain VAR that would come into the room, and we had first met the individual, and we realized, man, dude, I might have suffered some trauma because when I look at this person, all I can see is that individual.
Yes,
the person looked so much, even to the point where it actually almost conjured an emotion. It was weird. I'd never experienced that before. I'm like, Ralph, did you?
I remember that. I remember having the exact same feeling.
And
yes.
So we have to be very, very, very cognizant, right, of how we see those situations, see those events, because you have to be very purposeful and very intentional, right?
Yes.
Because life is going to happen.
Yes.
We cannot, life and chance, happens to us all. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that it's a Russian roulette. It doesn't mean that it's, we're like in Florida, and 1 minute it's raining and the next minute it's sunny. No, what that simply means is an opportunity is going to come your way. The question is going to be, are you going to be prepared for it? Right? Now, whenever we think of opportunity, we always think of it as something that's going to be a reward,
Mhm.
right? There are all kind of opportunities. There's
Right.
opportunity to show the right attitude,
Mm.
right? There's right opportunity to um to stand against the opposition of
Mhm.
intimidation,
Mhm.
to stand against the opposition of fear,
Mm.
right? To
Mhm.
stand against the opposition of worry. So there are
Mm.
all kind of opportunities that are going to come your way. Um, right? And so what we are trying to promote and trying to encourage us, right, even ourselves, is to practice a certain way of thinking
Mm.
about ourselves,
Yes.
understanding, seeing the situation, right? And because I
Mhm.
can't wait, Ralph, until you get to the third um, part of this equation, which this is where we, as human beings, right, we want to operate in this space. Let's say 90% of the time, let's say
Mm.
85% of the time, because you're human, right?
Mhm.
We have a wide range of emotions, right? And we're not asking you to be a robot. We're not asking you to be not true to yourself, right? Understand what it is you are
Right.
um, feeling or experiencing. But to
Mhm.
Ralph's point, now there's an opportunity for what? To make a decision.
Yes. 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 When you understand that your perception is a decision, that is one of the most powerful and
Mm,
freeing concepts you can ever learn, because you realize a couple of things. You realize that I get to choose how I perceive my situation, and other people don't really control me, right? Because we'll think, and how many times have we said this? Well, why'd you get mad? Well, they made me do it because they
mm,
said this. No,
right.
you chose to do it, right?
Mm,
And taking that ownership is a very powerful thing, because then you can change the direction of your life, right? Should you choose to take that ownership. I'll finish the part on the persecutor with this. It says, when the persecutor is an actual person, the one who adopts the role tries to dominate others through blame, criticism, and or oppression. These people are often authoritarian and rigid in their views,
mm.
exert power over others in an effort to keep others from having power over them. Persecutors may act grandiose and self righteous to mask their own insecurity. They can be manipulative and defensive, often launching preemptive attacks. For persecutors, all situations are win or lose. Their motto is win at any cost. So
Wow.
here's the crazy part about this triangle. A lot of people, everybody wants to believe that they are the victim in some perspective. But I guarantee you there have been other perspectives to where for somebody else, you've been the persecutor,
Mm,
right? We always think about what someone's doing bad to us, but have you ever thought about, when does other people think that I'm the one doing bad to them?
mm,
Right? Because you can't have a victim without a persecutor, right? So maybe you made an ugly look at somebody, or you snapped off at somebody because of something that you were going through, and now they perceive you as the persecutor.
right, right. Hey, remember, especially during COVID, folks didn't want to be on camera. I said, hey, when you're on that camera, make sure you're looking at yourself.
That's right.
Right. We've been in some meetings, man, and folks are, I don't think they know what they look like right now.
Yes, yes,
So
and
so
yes.
so so the power to see yourself, right? And so, Ralph, I want to throw a little curveball in on that, in terms of, sometimes we as individuals,
Mm-hmm.
we are the persecutor and the victim to
Mm,
ourselves, right? Some of
yes.
us are so hard on ourselves.
Mm, that's so true.
There are some things that we think about ourselves. You should have did this.
Mm-hmm.
You should have did it that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, granted, part of that that could be coming from a past experience, some environment that you were in that,
Mm-hmm.
didn't necessarily promote you or didn't show you value. And so
Right.
now you've taken on you've taken on the persecutor's thoughts about you.
Mm,
And now you are persecuting yourself.
that's heavy, man. Ooh, that's heavy. That's heavy because, and the piece that I'm going to get to eventually is there have been certain systems created to lead you to think that you are a victim.
Mm.
And even though the persecutor is long gone, the persecuting replays in your mind over and over again to keep
Yes.
you in a certain place. Right? I've heard it said this way, that what happens to you is not more powerful than the story you tell yourself in your mind about what happens to you. Because what happens to you only happens once. What you tell in your mind, you tell that story millions of times.
Wow.
So it's like just ripping off the Band-Aid every single time. We'll do more damage to ourselves replaying what happened to us in our mind than we do than the damage of the actual incident itself. So yeah, no, I agree with you 100%, Terry.
Thank you for being with us today on Leadership Sovereignty. Stay connected with us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Instagram by searching for Leadership Sovereignty. And just like this podcast, let's all collectively grow as we go. God bless.